you want to know the different levels that you invested in said token. And it's extremely hard to do that if you've got a 20 token portfolio with an AI sector and a GameFi sector. And what's going on, guys? Boi Crypto here with you again. And today we're going to talk about, is it actually better to be a stubborn crypto maxi? Now, we've talked about in the past the great mistake of maxi behavior, and I'll link that video below. You can see it right here. But I think there's a strong argument to be made for paring down your portfolio and only investing in a couple of tokens. Watch both videos and you can decide on your own. Hey guys, if you're new to the channel and you like strategic crypto content like this, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel as well, hit the notification bell, and you can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Boi Crypto. So yeah, it's a really valid question to be asking yourself right now as we kind of go throughout 2023, which obviously has been much, much better than 2022 in crypto. The market moving up slowly, kind of staying stagnant, but, no more massive crashes from exchanges being insolvent or anything like that. We aren't necessarily in a major bull run, although I do think we're in now a new bull cycle for Bitcoin and crypto. But times are still stagnant enough with some potential downside here and there that I do think taking a conservative approach and having maybe a narrow portfolio is a good idea right now. Not financial advice for you, but that is what I am doing personally. But today we're really focusing on the stubborn maxi behavior. Can it actually benefit you? This is, of course, a minimalist and crypto channel. I like to live by many minimalist principles in my life in terms of finance, in terms of the amount of people and things that I let into my life. I don't like a lot of distractions. And God knows when it comes to crypto, if you do a simple YouTube search of like altcoins, for example, you're going to be flooded with all kinds of channels with tons and tons of different altcoins that they're reviewing. I've even been guilty of it in the past, although nowhere near as much as many influencer type channels out there, trying to get you into every single project there is that likely is just the new layer 1 or layer 2 or whatever it may be that's just going to dump on people's heads down the line. There's plenty of traps to step in, of course, when it comes to crypto, and paring down your portfolio can help you avoid this. So with that said, the number one benefit of being a crypto maxi is that you understand the token that you're investing in and its whole ecosystem even better by focusing on it solely. Let's take Hex, for example. Now, Hex, of course, has a lot of utility as a store of value. It has long been touted by Richard Hart as a better Bitcoin, and I would have to agree with that myself, especially with the fact that you mint your own coins and keep it staked out anywhere up to 5,555 days if you so choose. There's a lot of game theory involved with knowing the different ways to go about staking Hex. Do you want to focus only on those super 55-55 long stakes? Do you want to create a ladder for yourself, like so many people strategize with, where you have a stake coming out every single year up to 15 years, maybe a few, one each quarter, whatever it may be, however you decide to do it. But there's so many mechanisms within Hex to get a greater rate of return the longer that you stake or the larger the principal of Hex that you stake. So there's a lot of different game theories to look into to decide, what do I do here? So much so that by mainly investing in Hex, if you so choose, or having it as a large portion of your portfolio and not many other coins, and I know with the nature of hexagons that usually is going to be the case, you won't find people who understand the protocol they're involved with much better than hexagons. They understand the whole staking mechanism. Not only that, and this is something that some hardcore hexagons were a little adverse to whenever they were first created, but there's been things built on top of Hex that are, in my opinion, terrific. I do invest in Hedron, which in my opinion has been probably the best thing that's been built on top of Hex by Alex McWhirter. Basically makes your stakes a little bit more liquid down the line. But you can understand derivatives or things built on top of the ecosystem that you're involved in by being heavily involved in that one. You can stake Hedron to earn ICOSA and read about ICOSA as well. Obviously, knowing Richard Hart, being involved in Hex, gives you the opportunity to understand what Pulse Chain is, PulseX, and the whole ecosystem that's going to come with that. The fact that you were able to participate in a sacrifice to get tokens airdropped to you whenever Pulse Chain launches. All opportunities that you may have not even known about had you not primarily been focusing on one guy, one creation, one ecosystem like that. Going back to the hex staking, I actually have a video, hex staking for beginners. If you just want some real basic tips, if you're watching this, chances are you're already invested in hex and pretty good at it, but that is a good video that I'll leave in the description below if you would like to learn a little bit more about it. I also think a little bit of the Phantom ecosystem. There's so many different ways within Phantom to yield farm, liquidity providing, things like that, that you can earn their Boi token and turn it into Phantom if you want to. There's ways to really maximize your investment by understanding the ecosystem that you're involved in even more. And I think the only way to know these things that well is to be invested in just a few products or projects and learn them. So benefit number 2 of being a stubborn crypto maxi is it's easier to track all this stuff. If you've ever had a portfolio with 12 or more coins or something like that, keeping up every single day with how every single one is doing as far as performance, knowing the charts of all of them, knowing the support levels for trading in, trading out, DCAing in or DCAing out, how are you possibly going to keep up with that many coins? You know, I know we're not talking about day trading here, but I reference Big Cheds, at Big Cheds on Twitter often on here because number one, I think he's a hell of a guy. Number 2, though, he does understand classical trading and technical analysis better than anyone I have ever come across. And he talks all the time about cutting your watch list in half if you are day trading. Now, I'm not an advocate for day trading. I don't day trade. I'm a crypto lifer hodler, obviously. But it is good to know those levels. And I don't know how the hell you could do that if you have, I would say, more than maybe 6 tokens in your portfolio. I personally like to know my cost basis for everything that I'm into. And if you've been in crypto for a while, you're going to have, you know, an overall cost basis, but the average buys where you want to know where you want to take profits down the line. If you're somebody who takes the initial investment out on a 2x or a 3x or something like that, or you know, 20% or whatever the percentage might be, you want to know the different levels that you invested in said token. And it's extremely hard to do that if you've got a 20 token portfolio with an AI sector and a GameFi sector. And, you know, I think of, and I'm not being critical of him, the Paul Barron show. He has a lot of shows dedicated to this like gigantic portfolio, which, you know, more power to him if he's actually investing in that stuff. But I have no idea how you could ever track any of that. Being involved with this many coins could also cause you to lose track of news items that could be coming up for these. You know, for example, if you were somebody, now who's kidding ourselves, like if you're invested in Hex, you're like really invested in Hex, but who is just a part of your portfolio, who knows, maybe somehow you live in a cave or something and you didn't even know about Pulse Chain or didn't understand how the sacrifice went and stuff like that. That's why I think it's better to not have all these different things going on. You're looking for all these different airdrops and maybe you're missing one of them. So I think it's good to be open-minded to anything that may come along in crypto and, you know, be willing to invest in something new. But looking for every single one of those opportunities may just cause you to lose a massive opportunity that's right under your nose and already in your portfolio. Benefit number 3 of being a crypto maxi is you can become part of the community of the few tokens that you're involved in. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Community is probably the number 1 factor in my interest anyway, in wanting to invest in a crypto. It's totally different from legacy markets. That's just the way it is here. That's why we have Dogecoin and Shiba Inu and like the top 10 tokens by market cap, because people like cute dogs and things like that. That's just the way that crypto is. Now, being part of the community, I'll be honest, the saying that grosses me out a little bit. I've always gone a little bit against the grain when it comes to religious vibes and big groups and things like that. But you don't necessarily have to start a new YouTube to start shilling the product that you're invested in, whether it's just liking the posts on Twitter, retweeting things, staying abreast of the news, joining the Telegram, Discord, Twitter Spaces, another great way to exchange information. Being involved with that stuff, you can really find out what is coming down the pike and be involved and actually monitor how well the community of your token is doing. Because if there's not a lot of events like that going on, not a lot of dedicated profiles for it and things like that, that may be a red flag that you want to exit that investment. Not financial advice to you, but for me, again, I want to see a great community behind the token. Again, you don't have to walk around your local community handing out flyers or anything like that, but showing support, being involved, I think it definitely helps the network effect of the token. So yeah, you're basically pumping your own bags to an extent, but it's good to know what news may be coming for the project, for the product, for the token, and be involved in those communities. Okay, the fourth and final benefit of being a stubborn crypto maxi is the myth of diversification. It's much better to just go all in on the right thing when it comes to your investments. Now, this implies that you actually know the right thing, which we can't necessarily do. But when it comes to crypto, there are times that you can pretty much throw a dart and have success in the market. And I believe that 2023 is one of those times. Most of the market is still down, although better than it was at the end of 2022. And there's lots of opportunity out there. I won't and can't tell you what the right thing is to be invested in. That's a job for you to do through your research. But if you believe wholeheartedly that you're in the right space, I personally think that after everything that happened in 2022 with all these terrible centralized exchanges and entities of criminals trying to extract money from crypto that are from legacy finance and not really have anything to do with crypto, I think that's going to make DeFi continue to reign supreme as we go into the next bull run. Now, I don't know exactly what that will look like. I don't know which tokens will be the best performers, but I know which ones I am most invested in, Hex being one of them. I know it's going to help me sleep better at night with what I'm invested in. And I'm willing personally to push those chips in and be heavily invested in those few tokens based on the narrative that I think will not only exist no matter what, but do really, really well in the next bull run, that being DeFi. The key here is to know the risk involved. I don't think there is very much with the ones that I'm involved in, but you need to know what it is, you need to identify it, and then you can go about allocating your portfolio the way you see fit. While I am advocating for certain avenues of maxi behavior here, I'm not personally a fan of literally only having like one token. I don't think anybody technically really does, because even if you are a Hex maxi, you've got to have some Ethereum to transact right now, although Pulse Chain is coming. But when I say maxi, I'm talking more like maybe 3 tokens, 4, 5, 6 tokens tops. I'm not going anywhere beyond that. I think that having a handful still mitigates some risk for you, but doesn't quite qualify as like massive diversification to make sure that you move with the market. Because when you have these huge handfuls of all these tokens from all these different sectors, you're not going to do as well as paring it down to the 1 or 2 tokens within one theme that you think is going to do well in the next bull run. I understand a lot of people have interest in GameFi and AI and all this crap right now, but I don't need a sector of all these different entities to feel like I've covered the gamut of crypto. I'm most interested in DeFi. I think that's where the larger market will be whenever it comes back and people get that fever pitch for crypto again. And Sam Bankman-Fried, partially because of the way he looks and stuff like that, with that wacky hairdo and being all over every screen in America on the legacy news networks, people are going to remember that face and they're going to know what that ordeal was and that it was an exchange. People over time, although they will be slow because people tend to be dumb, they're going to learn what crypto actually is and understand DeFi. So that's why I personally will be all in on DeFi with just a few tokens, at least for 2023. For these people right now that are like going on and on about AI and buying like Fetch, it's the only one I know of, and whatever other AI tokens, you know, you're buying when they've already run up and they're already getting towards the top. And I just think it's pointless to treat this like classical investing and have like this bucket of my crypto investments and this bucket of my layer ones. You know, why do you have to have a layer 1 sector of your portfolio or a layer 2 sector of your portfolio? Just investigate these a little bit more and realize that most of them are just major VC-backed projects that are eventually just going to dump on you, you know? So find out what it is. It behooves me to tell somebody else what to think necessarily. If you, for some reason, think that like layer 1s are going to continue to be the best thing to invest in going forward, then go ahead. But at least pick what it is you want to focus on and focus on that instead of having all of these different sectors to the point that you just have a generic fund that kind of moves with the rest of the crypto market. So find the idea that resonates to you the most and center your focus on that idea. So there you go, guys. I hope this painted a good picture of the benefits of being a more stubborn crypto maxi, because I really think that there are a lot. And again, you can check out my other video being critical of certain maxi behavior and kind of compare and contrast the two and see what you think. But I really do think it is a mistake to focus on all of this diversification. You know, this isn't classical finance. You don't need to own 500 companies or anything like that and have a managed mutual fund where they're actually robbing you blind, taking 2% expense ratio every single year. I just don't think you have to do that with this market. Find what it is that is interesting to you and invest in that. If you enjoyed this video and want more like it, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel as well, hit the notification bell, and you can find me on Twitter. I am at Boi Crypto. I want to once again thank all of you fellow broke boys for watching another one of these videos, and I'll catch you in the next one.